Hey guys, it's been a long time. I want to do a quick review of The Acolyte because a lot of people are talking about this series. Um, I'm going to give my thoughts briefly about it and just kind of talk about why I think Disney Star Wars is just in a lot of trouble and really could use some help. And I don't think that these shows are flopping for the reason people are saying because, like a woke agenda or any of that nonsense. I think it's just really just some basic stuff that, if fixed, could really help the franchise recover from its current malaise. But before we get started, I want to say check out my webcomic series, The Legend of Azure, currently on Webtoons. Link is in the description. And I'll be posting more videos about art and comics here very shortly. I just kind of wanted to talk about this very quickly. And, if this goes pretty well, maybe I'll do a few more reviews on this channel. It's good to be back. So let's get into this real quick. The Acolyte is Disney's newest Star Wars series on Disney Plus, and it's a very expensive show, and it's currently getting blasted with lackluster reviews. And if I'm going to be honest with you, spoiler alert, I kind of agree with those reviews. The show is very lackluster. The writing is bad. The dialogue is pretty bad. And overall, it just isn't a very good show. And that's really unfortunate because of all the Star Wars shows that was coming to Disney Plus, this one was probably the one I was looking forward to the most. The premise was interesting. The showrunner had a pretty good track record in other genres. The cast seemed pretty solid. And unfortunately, we have a situation where Disney just drops the ball, with a show that could have easily, been a top tier show. It could have been another Andor if it was just taken seriously, but it seems like it wasn't. So let's get into this a little bit. First and foremost, the main character, played by Amanda Stenberg, and I'm sorry if I got her name wrong. She's a young actress. She's a very talented actress. I've seen her in other things. In this particular series, she's just miscast. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know if it's the dialogue she was given. I don't know if it's the idea behind her character. Spoiler alert, she's actually a twin of another character played by the same actress. I don't know if that was a good idea to go through, but if the entire premise of the show is there is an acolyte going around killing Jedi, I think it's a bad idea to reveal that your acolyte is a young girl or her identity within the first 2 episodes of the series. It just removes all the tension and mystery from the show. So I know who the acolyte is, and it's some young girl who's killing Jedi with throwing knives. And let's talk about that real quickly. The first fight scene has May, who played by Amanda Stenberg, fighting against Carrie-Anne Moss, who is a Jedi. Solid fight choreography. I enjoyed it, but honestly, they have the acolyte throwing knives at a Jedi. Just throwing knives and doing like space kung fu. And it's an interesting idea, but her just producing like knives to throw and force tossing them, it's just kind of lame. I'm just going to say it. It's just lame. And I don't buy the notion of a Jedi getting defeated by a person throwing knives at them. It just seems kind of silly. And in the first fight, the acolyte's unmasked, so we see her face. Oh, it's Amanda Stenberg. Cool. And the tension is just gone. I'm not buying that this character is a super assassin who can kill a Jedi. But spoiler alert, she ends up killing Carrie-Anne Moss's Jedi Master character. So now we're supposed to believe that she's a threat. Her killing Carrie-Anne Moss just wasn't believable. So that kind of killed the tension or the interest of the show for me automatically. I was like, I'm not buying that this character, this main threat, is believable. So right there, I'm not invested in the show. But I kept watching it, and over the course of the show, we realized that there's another person who resembles the Acolyte as her twin sister. Her name is Osha, and the Acolyte's character's name is May. And boy, I hate those names, but this, that's petty compared to the overall issues with the show. And they're Force users, and if for some reason they're mad at the Jedi. Well, Osha's mad at the Jedi. I'm sorry, May. Excuse me. May is mad at the Jedi for something that happened when they were kids, and Osha joined the Jedi for a little bit, but she ended up leaving and becoming a mechanic on various space cruisers. Okay, so we have a second episode where May, the Acolyte, kills another Jedi who's like super meditating. Okay. And then we realize that the sisters didn't realize that they were both still alive. They thought the other one was dead for some reason. Okay. And they realized that they're alive, and now they kind of want to be together. And that leads May in episode 4, I believe, to want to betray her master and quit her mission, which was a pretty big flip because the entire premise of the show is an Acolyte hell-bent on getting revenge on the Jedi. And when May does her character flip, we don't know why she was mad at the Jedi in the first place, because the previous episode was a flashback with her childhood and her coven getting killed by a bunch of Jedi. But we never understand why May wanted revenge. Does she believe that the Jedi killed her coven? Does she know who did it? We are never told. But midway through episode 4, May is just like, hey, I'm going to quit this quest and I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi. Okay. And yeah, that was just, that was bad. Now, I will say some positives with the show was the fight scene in episode 5. By far the best episode because the choreography with the saber fights was great. But once the saber fight was over, you got the bad dialogue and the writing again. And it just dragged the entire experience down. And, the fight was brutal. The Sith Lord was actually very cool. The Acolyte's master. And frankly, I don't really think you needed Amanda Stenberg's character at all. You don't need twins. Just have that Sith Lord murdering Jedi. He's pretty much a more interesting character than, the entire May Osha thing. But anyways, talk about the Jedi real quick. The Jedi are just boring characters. I mean, they're just boring. It's unfortunately, for whatever reason, Lucasfilm has not been able to make interesting Jedi characters for years. Not since Luke Skywalker. The Jedi just suck as characters. They're just boring. I have no interest in them. They're lame space monks. I don't know how you could have killed such a cool concept in the span of 20 years, but Lucasfilm Disney did it. The Jedi are just really, really boring, dull characters, man. And after Obi-Wan Kenobi, after Ahsoka, now this, I really don't have much interest in another Jedi property because they're just boring. Make a Sith show about how the Sith came to power. That might be interesting because at least, the Sith have passion. At least they're interesting. The Jedi just suck, man. And I'm just kind of tired of seeing them. If I'm being honest about it, they're just boring. So overall, I give this series like a D-. It would have been an F if not for that final fight scene with the last episode. I'm not sure I'm going to finish this series. I don't see how you can recover. It's just really bad. Great fight scene in episode 5, but man, This show just drags, man. It's just not enjoyable to watch. The characters are bland. The best part of the show, honestly, is the master when they're revealed. That's by far the best part of the show. And then as soon as you get that reveal, after you get that incredible fight scene, it's back to more boring, terrible dialogue and bad plot points and just straight up nonsense, man. And something else too, man. Just the plot holes in this are just unbelievable. Just unbelievable plot holes. Not only is just the entire idea of this girl killing Jedi Masters and no one, knowing who this person is or whatever else. It's just, just things about getting to certain places at certain times and doing things that don't make any sense. Yeah. Or like just motivations changing on a whim. It's like, oh, hey, I'm going to turn myself in. Well, no, I'm going to try to kill the people I'm trying to turn myself into yeah. So to wrap this up, I'll just say, if you want to check it out, feel free to. If you're a huge Jedi fan who has to see every Star Wars film out there, knock yourself out, or Star Wars series, knock yourself out in that regard too. But just be ready for a pretty mediocre show. The fight scenes are solid. The bad guy is pretty cool. I really enjoyed his armor, his fight style. That was pretty cool. I would have loved to see more of that. But I really just think that's kind of like a one and done kind of deal. So yeah, the fight scenes get an A, but the entire show as a whole gets a D-, man. And that's pretty much it. And real quick, it's not because the show is woke, because they have lesbian directors or lesbian writers or lesbian actors, or it's some agenda. It's just bad writing, guys. I remember when House of the Dragon was first announced, and these same arguments popped up about that show too. Oh, it's woke. Oh no, Valorian's a black man. We're going to have some problems. And that show was excellent. Why is that show excellent? Because it has great writing. It has strong writers. If you have a show with strong writing, it doesn't matter what the cast makeup is. You just got to have good writers in those roles. And unfortunately, whoever the screenwriter or producers are on this show, they're just not doing a good job. It's not because of their sexual orientation or their race or whatever else. It's just talent, man. You got to get people in there who know what they're doing. And unfortunately, with this series, the people doing it don't know what they're doing. I hate to say that. I mean, as a creator myself, I'm not perfect, but this show could have been so much better. And it's just really disappointing to watch. Like I said, I was looking forward to this show the most. Sad to see that it's just not what I was looking forward to. Hoping that Disney can turn it around, man, because, their recent efforts have been pretty terrible outside of Andor. So we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe. Until next time, later.